Hi, I'm Sue. Recently, on my blog, Stories of an Unschooling Family, I was writing about Evernote and how I'm using it to keep unschooling records for my daughters. And today I thought that I would put together a screencast video and give you a closer look at my notebooks. And so what I've done is I've come into my Evernote Notebooks, and you'll see over here that these, I've got 10 notebooks, 1 to 10, and they all belong to, in a bundle. I've stacked them, and they belong to Term 1 2014. So these are all the learning experiences for Term 1 2014. Now, what I've done here is, this is week 6. It began on the 10th of March, and over here, if I look there, there's 40 notes within that notebook, and each of those 40 notes represents a different learning experience that I recorded. So all the notes that are here, it's a big long list of them, and if I click onto the top one, it comes out over here in detail. At the top of every note there's a label, and I've chosen the labels to roughly correspond with the key learning areas that the educational authorities expect my children to be learning. So they're a bit arbitrary as far as I'm concerned, because I don't teach a subject called HSIE, which is Human Society and its Environment, but there's lots of activities my girls do that I have labelled that. They're related to that subject, and I've just got very good at translating what the girls are doing into the right language for registration purposes. So I don't sit out and say, well, today we're going to do science, or today we're going to do English. More like we'll say, well, today let's go for a nature walk. And we come home and I think, well, I could put that in science. We've had a look at all the plants and the animals, and we've discussed it, and the girls probably went away and they did a little bit of research. The same with English. I probably don't say, well, let's go and do some English today, girls. I'd probably say, anybody want to sit and watch Twelfth Night? And here we are. We watched this version of Twelfth Night in the week beginning 10th of March. We actually watched it twice. We watched it in 2 parts. I don't know if we watched it any other time, but we've taken to sitting down and watching a video together, and if it's a long one like a Shakespeare, we might watch it in 2, 3, 4 sessions. And these are the icons that I decided to insert to show how many times a week we actually did this activity. So in this week, we watched Twelfth Night together twice. If I go further down, I think we actually watched a different version. Here we go. We watched this BBC version of Twelfth Night as well 3 times. So that probably corresponds to 5 days of the week we sat down and watched a little bit of Shakespeare together. We discussed it afterwards, just informally. I didn't make the girls go away and write an essay or anything, just out of natural curiosity, and because we were interested, we sat down, we discussed it. We probably decided that I think that the actor and the actress who played the main roles in the first version, this version here, did a better job than in the BBC version. I remember discussing that with the girls. And I took those images off the internet. I just copied and pasted them in to each of the notes. I added some tags up here. I've added English. I probably should have added, I think I've got a Shakespeare tag. There we go. Add that in as well, so that I can that helps to find notes later on if I want to go back and find out how many Shakespeares we've watched together, or maybe the Board of Studies wants me to summarize all the English experiences my girls had, and that makes it easier if I've tagged them. Now looking down here to see what else we've done. we watched a number file video. It's maths video. We saw it on YouTube. And if you look up here, there's the web address there. If I clicked onto that, we'd get right back to the video we watched. And this one was about music, which was based on the Fibonacci sequence. And I remember that that inspired the girls. They wanted to do some music of their own, to compose. So here's another note that I've written about composing a piece of music based on the Fibonacci sequence. We talked about Fibonacci numbers and we worked it all out, and these are the math skills that the girls actually used while we were working out what notes corresponded with the Fibonacci numbers. Then I think we actually did something, well, we did lots of maths experiences, lots of maths that week. Not particularly because we wanted to get so much maths done in the week, but it just sort of one thing led to another. Pi. I remember the girls were interested in pi. I think it was actually the week before Pi Day, but that was just a coincidence. And this here is a photograph I took with my tablet of a screen, and we were making pi artworks, and this one was made with using Windows, but the girls had a go at making them using GIMP. And probably somewhere in here I've got there's Gemma Rose working on her picture or her artwork of pi using GIMP, and I just snapped another picture using my tablet, and I think it uploaded to my automatically, and then I inserted it from, I don't know if it from my Dropbox, I can't remember, but it was very easy to put that picture in there. I remember watching we watched quite a few maths videos that week. This one's Pi with Pies, and girls really enjoyed that explanation of pi using pies. And there again, up there is the web address if we want to go back and have another look at it. Someone obviously wrote a letter that week and I recorded it. Sophie likes to go and watch the periodic, the videos on the periodic table of videos site, the University of Nottingham, which are really interesting. And she watched one called Calcium, and afterwards she told me she'd watched it, so I went and I clipped this using my web clipper, and there again is the web address of it. Blog posts. The girls wrote a blog post about going out to lunch. That was just a draft copy. If I go further up, I might actually find the actual blog post that they wrote. Here it is. I imported a whole blog post on what the girls did this particular day. The younger girls, the older girls went away for the weekend, and this is Gemma Rose's blog post that I got off her blog. There's her address there. I clipped it and imported it into my note. Gemma Rose likes reading out aloud. I've copied and pasted a cover of the book that she was reading this particular week, and she insisted on reading it to me 5 times. Novel writing. We were writing a shared novel, taking turns writing chapters, and we did that 4 times that week. I'm not too particular about how many times we do it a week, but we're expected to keep records, so it doesn't take much to stick an icon there for registration purposes. I don't sort of say, well, you know, we've only read out loud twice this week, go and get your book, we must do it. But I just, every time we do an experience, the girls do something like this, I do record how many times. Trying to think anything else there that we had a look at. We were drawing Fibonacci spirals. Well, there's some great, there must have been a really good maths week. We must have gone from one maths video to another as the girls were interested. This one's about doodling spirals, Fibonacci, and being a plant. Some weeks we won't do as much maths. It just depends on where things go, what the girls are interested in. But one thing we always do every week is I read aloud to them because they really enjoy that. And this is a little bushmaid that image again, I copied and pasted, and we must have read it twice. We usually have 2 or 3 books that I'm reading at a time. Creative arts. Sophie had a piano lesson that week. She only has 1 outside lesson a week, but she's got to do lots of practices every day. I say she's got to, well, she does. It's that's what she chooses to do. So there we go. She did 5 practices that week. If I go to another notebook, there'll be different things that the girls have done. Again, there's more blog posts they've written. This one Sophie's written, and I've imported it in. Sophie, or the picture's around the wrong way. I did discover that photos that come off my tablet are better portraits rather than landscape, because otherwise they turn around on the side. And we were reading this book last week called The Long Walk, or this particular week. Making a movie. Sophie made a movie. I called this one Creative Arts, English and Computer Technology. Some labels, some learning experiences will actually overlap a number of key learning areas, and I always write down all of them. And there's things we do every week, which is like our morning prayers. And well, probably somewhere along there, there's a computer game that Gemma Rose was playing. I called it Maths because Tree, Frog, Treasure, and it was all to do with, I can't quite remember, but fractions by the looks of it. Yep, and in most mornings of the week we go down for a run down the bush tracks, and so that'll be in every notebook as well. If I go back to the other notebook, the same note is there. There it is there. We went for a run 3 mornings that week. That's basically what my notebooks look like. There's differences between each of them. Some weeks like this one we've done a lot of maths. Some others will be mostly writing weeks. Others we had a week where we went from one science thing to another.